Hey guys, welcome to BP the Bible Perspective. Can a gay person be born again? Here's another question. Can a gay person have a true relationship with God? Now before I unpack that, don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to BP the Bible Perspective. And as always, if you have a thought or comment, add it to the comment section below. All comments are welcome. Now, there is a growing presence of those who will say, I am gay, but yet I am a Christian. There are even some who are calling themselves born again Christians. Now, I don't want to get into a big fight over that. I think that has been the mistake of the evangelical movement, and that the kind of fire, so to speak, that they sought to put out by politicizing it and making it a cultural issue, they've actually made it worse. In other words, the gay agenda is making great strides in our society today, due in part because of the hypocrisy of the evangelical church. Now, on the other hand, the idea that what the gay agenda seeks to accomplish is to say, you must accept us. God must accept us. Now, by law, if what they are attempting to do come to fruition, then every church would have to ordain those who identify as gay. They would have to, and whether they do it or not, my point is they want the law to exist, that you have to say you are equal. Now, obviously, the true churches never would do that. But back to the person who identifies as both gay and Christian. And let's just assume for a moment that if you say, I really love my Christian faith, and I really seek to have acceptance before God, does God accept that? Does God accept the person who identifies as homosexual? And again, I have to say, will then even seek to retain their homosexuality? And because that's the issue. Now, I want to tell a story about Cain and Abel. And if you don't know, familiar with the story, Cain and Abel were Adam and Eve's first recorded sons. The story is found in Genesis chapter 4. Now, Cain was a farmer, and Abel had flock. Now, they both made an offering to God. Now, God had respect for Abel's offering, but he rejected Cain's. And here's where the story gets interesting right here. Cain got angry at that. What is even further interesting is that God took interest in Cain and said, Cain, why are you angry? If you don't do what's right, won't you be accepted? But Cain rejected God. And as a result of that, he ended up murdering his brother. The murder was so brutal that God even said to Cain when he asked him, he says, the famous line where, Cain, where is your brother? And Cain basically said, am I my brother's keeper? And we see that line quoted all the time, where it comes from this story. And Cain was actually being sarcastic. But God says, what have you done? Your brother's blood cries out to me. Well, some believe that it was so hideous that Cain had slit his throat, thus the amount of bloodshed. Now, the Bible tells us later that Cain hated Abel, his brother, because his brother was righteous. The point I want to make from this too is that the difference between the two, Abel was accepted before God, but Cain wasn't. And even when God approached Cain and said, hey, if you do what's right, you too would be accepted. But Cain rejected that. What Cain represents is that religious person who approaches God and says, God, you must accept me the way I am. And God won't. As I told you, God will never do that, and the true church will never do that. But Cain represents that person for whatever reason, however, that he wants to force his way instead of humbling himself. If you say you want a true relationship with God, let's take a Cain for a moment. If Cain wanted a true relationship with God, when God rejected his offering, what response should Cain have given? Should he have responded in the prideful way that he did? Or should he have humbled himself and said, Lord, what would you have me to offer? And you see, it's the same with me. How are you coming to God? If you say, I'm a gay Christian, if you say, I want to be born again, the question is, how are you coming to God? Are you coming to God on God's terms, or are you trying to come to God on your terms? We are all sinners before God. So the fact that you're gay in and of itself, that's not the issue, because Jesus died for every man's sin. Yes, gay is a sin, and Jesus died for that. So when you come to God, are you trying to be like Cain, the religious side, and say, I'm going to function in this religion? Or will you be like Abel and say, I will humble myself and offer what God wants? In the case of your lifestyle, are you going to come to God and says, God, I believe on Jesus Christ. I believe in the redemption that you provided. Thus, I'm going to present myself to you in humbleness to your way. And that's the question. That is the answer to that. No man can be born again. No man can have a true relationship with God on his own terms. He must humble himself before God and then bow before God's way. Then God will accept you. So my exhortation is, are you going to humble yourself before God's way, which is Jesus Christ? Not your way, but Jesus Christ. That's my perspective. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to BP, the Bible Perspective. Till next time, I will see you then.